Hello and welcome to Insight Today. I am Jumai Manson. Today on the program, we'll be taking a look on community engagement and development. Stay tuned, the program continues shortly. You're welcome back. It's Insight Today on Global Television. Now, research has proven that community engagement is a vital aspect of community development as it involves actively involving community members in decision-making processes and initiatives that affect their lives. Now, by engaging the community, development efforts become more inclusive, effective, and sustainable. This approach ensures that the voices, needs, and perspectives of community are considered, leading to solutions that are tailored to the specific contexts and challenges faced by the community. Now, effective community engagement fosters a sense of ownership, empowerment, and collaboration among community members, driving positive change and development outcomes. To throw more light on this, I am being joined by Abiodun Esset. She is the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Community Engagement North Central. Good afternoon, Ms. Abiodun Esset. Are you here with me on the program Insight Today?
Good afternoon. Yes, I'm here.
Good afternoon, Ms. Abiodun. It's great to have you on the program. Thank you for joining in.
Thank you.
All right, let us look at community engagement. What are the benefits of the development process when it comes to community engagement in a society?
Okay, thank you very much. So, community engagement is a crucial initiative that helps to strengthen democracy in any government. It gives the power back to the citizens and it helps to include them in all levels of intervention. So you can't say too much about it. It's all about what governance should be. When we say a country is practicing democracy, we say democracy is the government of the people, by the people, and for the people. So the people are the crucial part of this democracy, and that's why community engagement is like the cornerstone towards strengthening our democratic governance in any country that is practicing it.
Now, looking at this, for someone out there who is not in, when it comes to being political, when it comes to being involved, when it comes to political processes, just an individual trying to make impact. Now, what are some effective strategies for engaging members in our society into community engagement and development?
Okay, thank you so much for that. So when I got into the office, when I was appointed last year, I decided to start an initiative. But before I started the initiative, I carried out a survey to understand what the perception of people about community engagement and also federal government engagement with them. And the gaps that I saw in the survey made us to know there is a wide level of gap between the people and the government, and which led to lack of distrust in government. And for us to close that gap, I created an initiative called Citizens Assembly. It's a platform where everybody within my constituency, which is the North Central region of Nigeria, can add their voice to everything that is happening in their community and also add their voice to governance. So the Citizen Assembly is a volunteering process where people can sign up from different angles. So in my constituency, I have over 110 local governments. And the Citizen Assembly, we are trying to make sure that we have at least one person in the wards of different states of the North Central who are members of the Citizen Assembly. And the major aim for creating this Citizen Assembly is to promote that two-way dialogue between the government and the people. And for the people at the grassroots level to also understand what the governance is doing, what the government is doing. And most importantly, to also gather feedbacks from them about what what they feel about the governance, about our policies, about program, how is it affecting
Okay.
them, or how are they benefiting from it, how is it, bringing any issues for them. So we gather all these reports as from my office, and we translate this report to different ministries or agency, and then finally to the presidency, so that it can understand what the issues are with some of our policy, and it can use all those feedbacks to really change policies and programs in Nigeria. So that was the whole essence of the Citizen Assembly. And we have really documented a significant progress in the Citizen Assembly across the North Central region. We discovered that, for instance, our Nigerian Social Investment and Nigerian Youth Investment Fund that we asked our youth to apply. There was a clause there that says you have to have a registered business with our Corporate Affairs Commission. And most of our
Okay.
youths that needed this fund didn't have a registered CAC business. So it was raised in our Citizen Assembly, and my office took an initiative, took the giant steps to relate this feedback to the CAC Registrar General and ask how it could help to really address this within the shortest period of time, because our citizens, our youths are complaining they don't have their business registered because of bottlenecks, because of the middlemen between the CAC
Okay.
and and all that. So we had to intervene and say we want them to register directly. We don't want any middleman that will help or increase the cost of registration. And we have done that. Over 1,500 people have showed interest that they want their business to be registered so that they can also apply for the Nigerian Youth Investment Fund. So that's
Okay.
one of the success stories that we have gathered from Citizen Assembly. So it's a process to identify the issue, and also for us to translate some of the issues, some of the programs that the federal government is doing to the local level. And for all our citizens, for all our members who are in the Citizen Assembly, before you join, you will be trained on the different levels of training about the roles of federal government, about how to hold your government accountable, and the rules of volunteerism in community development. They will be
Okay.
trained those modules before we now set up, accept them into the assembly. And secondly, our volunteers are also taking the oath of office. The oath of office to share that everything, any information or any video they share are the valid one. They are not forced, they are true and genuine, because it's important for us to safeguard the space we have. So when you open a
Okay.
space up like this and you see people bringing information that are not legit, that are not genuine, then it will affect the assembly that we have. So we make them to take the oath of office to make sure that they don't share any false news, and they don't share anything that is being politicized. So on our assembly, for the fact that I'm in government, every member of our citizens don't have any political division. There's no political preference. You can belong to any party, be it the ruling party or the opposition or any other party. We don't accept people based on your party preference. We open
Okay.
the space up for anybody that wants to join the platform, so that, because this is about governance and not about politics. So everybody, no matter, it's not the people who voted for the president that we are governing. We are governing the people who voted and who did not vote for the president. So this is what we are trying to ensure, that that space is protected. We are not politicizing it, and we are
Okay.
making it so clear for everybody to join.
And looking at it, Mrs. Abiodun, it's all for the benefit of the community, right?
Yes, sis.
Okay.
Yes,
Now
please.
let's look
Because
at
there
this critically. Now,
are
how
five.
can community engagement help address social issues within a community? Looking at families, people from different tribes, religion, and all of that coming together to address the social issue that is within a particular community.
Yeah, very important point and very important question. So one of the
Okay.
impacts we hope to achieve with the Citizen Assembly through our community engagement work was to promote social cohesion. So one of the values that we promote on our Citizen Assembly is the value of inclusivity, the value of open-mindedness, so that people, when issues, so every time we have a citizen assembly section where we discuss social issues that are happening in different communities. For
Okay.
instance, in Niger State, we are addressing an issue of lack of electricity. A volunteer submitted a report with evidence and phone numbers of community leaders, and we're taking that up And the Minister of Power has assured us that the lights will be restored in those communities. Another community in Abuja FCT, Kwali, within Kwali Area Council, some of our volunteers identified that there's a prevalence of teenage pregnancy in that community. And we have taken it up as citizen assembly volunteer who are engaging with the community to address the issue of teenage pregnancy in that community.
Okay.
And that initiative has been sponsored by my office, and they are working with volunteers who are within those communities to address that as well. When I visited, so I'm currently on a listening tour across the north central region of Nigeria to gather feedback about policies and programs. And there are some communities that I visited from, for instance, from Jos. There was a community we visited from Jos South, and we discovered that they have issue about water supply. My office took it upon itself to make sure that there's a provision of water, and we're also helping them to construct a toilet facility that could help them promote their health and all that. And those are the things initiative will do. Anytime we go to a community, we'll also direct them to other state governments, because we are working in partnership with state governments so that the state government also understand their responsibility and they are also committed to that. And that's one of the reasons why the federal government ensured that we got the local government autonomy, so that we can promote grassroots engagement and development.
Okay. Now let us look at communication. You know, people have different tribe, we have different ethnic groups and all of that. Now, what role does communication play in a successful community engagement?
Yeah, I think communication is everything. Like I said, my office is also working with the National Orientation Agency to see how we cascade some of the federal government initiatives down to the local level, because local people also need to understand what is the role of different levels of a government agency, and they should be able to know which agency. So I do this a lot anytime I go to a community and they say, oh, our road is bad. I say, is it a community road? Or is it a road from one ward to another? Or is it a road from one state to another? So I made them to understand that this problem they're having should be addressed by your local government, or should be addressed by your state government, or should be addressed by your federal government. So communication is so key. A lot of when we cannot able to communicate what you are doing as a government, then your program is not being felt. So there's no how you can say yes, everybody knows about it. So we can't rule out communication in some of these things. So for instance, when I went to a state and I told them that the federal government of Nigeria has shared 20 trucks of rice for the state governor, for the 36 state governor and FCT. Some of them were surprised. But, you know, it's some of the things that we do share through our different channels. And we also encourage some of our colleagues to also share in local languages so that people understand what the government is doing for them. And we open channels. So the sitting assembly that we created was a channel to boost communication, two-way communication with the people, citizens that we serve, and also communication with government agency. A lot of them do share the testimony that this is the first time that they are seeing somebody from the federal level very close to them, listening to them. So I don't dedicate people to manage our citizen assembly. I manage my citizen assembly myself so that they can trust government. So, for instance, there was a guy that reached out to me on Twitter and said, oh, because I'm in Benue Straits, that I should please branch and look at his innovation hub, because he thought maybe because you're in government, you won't do that. And I surprised him and said, yes, we have a listening president who is the president of Federal Republic of Nigeria. He has given us mandate to engage the people. So why would I not come if I had the time and the opportunity? And I surprised him and I went to his office and also participated in the launching of his innovation hub. That's the way that we want to ensure and build trust in government. And communication is so important. So as we are managing using the new social media, we're also trying our best to manage the traditional media so that everybody will be carried along. So I encourage all our volunteers across the different worlds to reach out to their stakeholders. They must have, it is a compulsory thing for us in Citizen Assembly, for them to have the numbers of their traditional leaders, for them to have the numbers of their stakeholders in their community, and for them to always be available in their ward or in their community, so that any message they get on our platform, they can also pass the same message to members of their community in their local languages.
Let us look at community leaders. How do you work hand in hand with them to promote active participations from individuals in their own community?
Okay, thank you so much. So I said previously that I've embarked on a listening tour across the North Central region of Nigeria.
Yes, you
So
did.
when I go for listening tour, first thing I do is to pay homage to the gatekeepers, who are the community leaders and traditional leaders, to tell them that yes, so I am from the presidency, this is who I am, and this is what I do. And secondly, another way I used to engage them was also to organize a town hall meeting. So any state I get to, I organize a town hall meeting where we bring grassroots individuals, traditional leaders, Miangwans that are in the community, leading different communities to come together and also engage with us in a constructive dialogue. So the town hall meeting is an opportunity for me to engage the community leaders and the traditional leaders. So we invite all of them. I tell my team when we are sending invitations to people, it must be people who have connections and grassroots level, grassroots connectivity, and they are engaged with their people. For instance, we even reach out to also associations of different people, NURTW, Okada riders, groups of women, and traditional reader up to religious leaders. So it depends on the composition of the state that we are going. Some states are very religious sensitive. So we'll make sure
Very
that we
true.
send invitations to all the different religious leaders and groups so that they are all present. As you are inviting Khan, you are inviting One, you are inviting the Islamic groups, you are inviting everybody, because at the end of this, we want to promote social cohesion among ourselves. We want ourselves to understand the pain the other person is going through and why the pain and why it's going through that pain, so that we all sit down together and address this issue. And also, when I visit any state, I also meet with the security leaders in those states and encourage them to promote, resolution of conflicts in using non-kinetic means. Because I think non-kinetic means it helps you to give you an opportunity to listen to the concerns of everybody and now agree together on how you want to solve it. It's not everything that we need force, or it's not everything that we need to combat with conflicts and all that. So we don't have to use force in resolving crises in some of these neighboring communities that are within my region. So I encourage them as security agency to use non-kinetic means in addressing conflicts in our regions.
Mr. Abiodun. Now, let us look at cultural sensitivity. It's very important. From what you explained, let's connect the dots with our cultural sensitivity. Now, how does it impact community engagement and development initiatives, despite knowing various cultures which are involved?
Okay, thank you so much. So, cultural sensitivity is something that's very important for anybody who is engaged in any community to know. For instance, everybody knows that in North Central we have so many tribes and religion. So in doing anything for my region, it is important. What the first thing that my team asks them is, what are the different tribes, which tribes you have in your state or in your community? I will make sure that we extend an invitation to all the tribes, no matter how small it is. So, because if you don't do that and you organize a program and say, no, they called only this tribal group, they did not call the other groups. So we make sure that in any group, we manage the group dynamics in any state that we go. We understand the groups that have the highest tribal group and the one that has the smallest tribal group. For instance, we were in one of the states, and one of the chief mentioned that they have been marginalized in federal government appointments, in state government appointed, because their tribe is so small. So those are some
Okay.
of the feedback we want to get, and also for leaders that we're engaging to also see how you can include all the tribes in governance and anything you are doing, because lack of inclusion is what leads to crisis, and that's what we in
Exactly.
committee
Exactly.
so much, that we don't want to promote any crisis, because and we don't want any group to be marginalized. According to the sustainable development goal, it says leave no one behind, no matter how small the tribe is or no matter how big the tribe is. So it's for us to learn how to accommodate. And another thing I also learned while engaging in the North Central region is also learn to speak their languages. because languages is one of the identity of people, and when you relate with them in their languages, they feel so comfortable, they are open-minded, they want to share everything because you are now speaking to them. They feel you should be able to understand how they feel, and it shows acceptability, that you have accepted them and they've accepted you. So the language is another means I'm also using to engage, and also a way of in promoting social cohesion among the diverse ethnic groups and tribes in North Central region.
Well said. Thank you so much, Abiodun Esset. Thank you so much for being a part of Insight today and throwing in depth when it comes to community engagement and development. Thank you for being a part of the program.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. And of course, Abiodun Esset, she is the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Community Engagement North Central. And she has really thrown more light in community engagement and, of course, development. In all of this, looking at it critically from all what she has explained to each and every one of us, is that we know that community engagement and development, they are intertwined processes that rely on active participation and collaboration within communities to drive positive change. Now, by involving community members in decision making, fostering inclusivity, and promoting empowerment development initiatives becomes more sustainable and impactful. Through effective communication, cultural sensitivity, and a focus on addressing social issues, community engagement can create a safe, supportive, and resilient environment that benefits all members of society. Ultimately, community engagement is a cornerstone of sustainable development, paving the way for holistic growth and progress within communities. She said something. She said, no matter how small, you should carry everyone along. Thank you all so much for being a part of Insight today. Hope you've learned one or two when it comes to community engagement and development. I am Jumai Manson. Have an amazing day ahead. Bye-bye.